executives are pros at putting crappy games on Thursday nights, and this one certainly fits the bill. The Baltimore Ravens don't deserve to be a 10-point favorite against anybody, but a perfect storm has them at -10 for Thursday night's game against the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns may end up with a 0-16 record on the season. Another hapless, lame effort against the Dallas Cowboys leads into a short week of preparation for them to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Browns did manage to cover as 10-point underdogs against the Miami Dolphins earlier this season, with one of their two covers. Cleveland is just 2-7 against the spread, and they're obviously 0-9 straight up. Hugh Jackson's team has shown admirable amounts of fight more often than not, but they're just a bad football team. Cody Kessler's been a bright spot for the Browns this season. By some metrics, he's been one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. He's taking care of the football with just one interception on 160 attempts. He's completed 67.5% of his passes, but there has not been much of an attempt to throw the ball downfield. Isaiah Cromwell and Duke Johnson Jr. have run the ball effectively, but the Browns are always trailing, so they have 198 rushing attempts against 327 throws. Cromwell has averaged 4.7 yards a pop, and Johnson has 5.1, but he only has 47 carries. As a team, the Browns only have 11.5 yards per reception, but they did get deep threat Corey Coleman back for last Sunday's game. He had 3 catches for 41 yards. The Browns might as well play more aggressively here because Baltimore is tough to run the ball on. To say it nicely, the Browns lack playmakers on defense. They've given up 4.6 yards per rush and 13.1 yards per catch. There has been no pass rush to speak of, as Cleveland ranks 27th in sacks with just 14. Opposing quarterbacks have completed 64.4% of their passing attempts, which is about average in the league. But an inability to tackle and a lack of coverage at the second level has opened up big plays. The Browns have nobody capable of covering tight ends or slot receivers, and it shows week after week. The Browns only have 8 takeaways and 6 interceptions this season. The Baltimore Ravens snapped a 4-game losing streak with a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers last time out. The Ravens are now 4-4 straight up and 3-4-1 against the spread. That was their first win of any kind against the spread or otherwise since September. The Baltimore Ravens are not a very good football team either. It's week 10, and Joe Flacco has still thrown more interceptions than touchdown passes. Flacco is dealing with a shoulder injury for a while, so he's only been able to throw underneath. And the 95-yard catch and run from Mike Wallace skewed his week 10 stats. The Ravens have only rushed for 3.5 yards per carry. Terrence West gets a crack at the team that drafted him as the feature back for the Ravens. He's rushed for 4 yards per carry. Expect a big day for Dennis Pitta, since the Browns cannot cover any tight ends. That might also mean targets and receptions for Steve Smith Sr., who came back last week against Pittsburgh. The Ravens are 27th in total yards and have scored 14 fewer points than the Browns. Baltimore's defense has been pretty stout this season. They've only allowed 3.4 yards per carry, and that includes an 85-yard run earlier this season. Take away that one long scamper, and they've allowed just 524 yards on the other 180 carries. It seems unlikely that the Browns will find a whole lot of running room in this game. The Ravens have also held opponents in check with just 10.5 yards per catch this season. That's a top 5 mark in the NFL. The Ravens are also in the top 10 in takeaways with 14. Things like that can help subpar offenses get by, and Baltimore's been able to get by with its defense so far this season. The Baltimore Ravens are not worthy of being a 10-point favorite against any team in the NFL. The Browns are terrible, but the Ravens aren't a whole lot better when you consider that the Browns are better offensively and the Ravens are better defensively. Cody Kessler is accurate enough to get the Browns moving a little bit against this defense, and that's all the Browns should need to hang within this spread. This should be an ugly, sloppy game, but Cleveland's urgency to avoid a 0-16 season just keeps getting stronger. Our pick and prediction is for the Cleveland Browns at +10.